Everything you've been taught says leadership needs to be one person at the top. But what if that's wrong? In today's episode, we're going to challenge that completely. I'm talking to 3 co-founders who share leadership, have zero ego, and it totally works. So if you're struggling to let go of control, you're going to want to listen to this. Welcome to Female Founder Unplugged, the show where we cut through the noise and have a real, raw conversation about what it takes to build and scale a successful business as a female entrepreneur. I'm Lindsay White, people strategy expert, leadership coach, and fellow founder. And I know firsthand the challenges of scaling sustainably and staying connected to your passion along the way. This podcast is for ambitious women just like you, seasoned founders and CEOs navigating the challenges of leadership, team building, and sustainable growth. In each episode, we'll dive into those topics that are most important to you as a female founder. You'll hear honest, no BS conversations about building, growing, and leading a team and culture so that you can grow without losing yourself in the process. Because let's be real, entrepreneurship can feel isolating, and leadership doesn't come with a roadmap. If you've ever struggled with the pressure of running a business, felt overwhelmed by growing your team, or wondered, how do I scale without sacrificing my vision and my purpose, you're in the right place. Let's get unplugged. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I am so happy to have you back for another really fantastic and I think fun episode of Female Founder Unplugged. I have the founders from Artemis Factor here. And these ladies, we just hit record. We've been laughing for 20 minutes already. So this is going to be such an incredible episode. I'm super excited to have these 3 ladies here with me today. And the truth is, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They don't need me to read their bios. So Shannon, why don't I get you to start? Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you girls are up to?
Yeah. Hi. Thanks so much for having me and having the Artemis Factor partners here today. I'm Shannon Keenan. My background is in science. So I started I started in the lab, actually at Merck and Company, working on the hepatitis B vaccine, which I've always loved. Pharma. I love, the idea of being, helping patients. And then I moved over to GSK, another pharma company. And there I did more strategy and consulting in the R&D space, from phase 1 all the way through discovery. And then kind of getting, when I started to move out of the large pharma, I then moved over into the commercial side where I was the U.S. Puerto Rico commercial lead. And Tara Kent and I all met up in that space on the commercial side in the transformation office, and then started Artemis about 7 years ago. We saw a really cool opportunity to service pharma with people that had grown up in pharma, understood large matrix organizations. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. Awesome. Kat, what about you?
That's awesome. So we normally have a rhythm. There's an order we go in, and you went the opposite way, but I am in the middle, and it's just because how our careers stack up against each other. But I will, because I took to go next anyway. So Katrina, one of the co-founders of Artemis Factor, and like Shannon, I started my career as a bench scientist at Merck and Company, but we didn't know each other. I worked on the vaxes as well. So Pneumovax, Paravax, Recambavax. And I guess Gardasil is one of the vaccines that I'm super proud of that I got to work on. So bench scientist, made my way to MMD, so manufacturing from research. Then made my way into project management, where I met Tara and Shannon. Tara actually hired me into the commercial side of things. I did enter into the project management side from R&D, but got my MBA somewhere along the way, got introduced to Tara, and got over to the dark side, which is commercial.
I love it. Yeah. Tara, round us out. What about you?
Hi, everyone. Lindsay, thanks so much for having us. So Tara Miller, I came right out of college into pharma. So I came into what would be like a future leader program where you get to rotate and try different jobs for a few years. I was on the R&D side as well for a little bit, and was really everywhere from early discovery to phase 4, which is in the clinical trial space. And then I pivoted over to the commercial side, sales and marketing, and really bookended my career there in the transformation office. And then we started, as Shannon said, Artemis, and I've been fortunate to be doing this for 7 years now. And we get to work with the best humans that are on this planet, basically solving big, complex problems and trying to make them real and not lose the human part of this.
Yeah, and I love that. And that is exactly why I wanted to have you three incredible ladies on this show, because, you know, first of all, I was super intrigued about how the three of you work together. I mean, that's a tricky space, that co-leadership. And also, you have such a wonderful approach to the way you want to build and grow your team and your culture. So I'm glad we get to have this discussion. And that's really where I want to start. I want to start talking about, like, you have built this high trust, low ego model that you work in, you three, that you get to consensus, and then you step out if someone else wants to lead. How did you get there?
You want me to kick some of this off?
Yeah,
you guys
do it.
Can pepper in?
Do
Okay.
it.
So I think, Lindsay, what's really interesting, when we started Artemis, we got a lot of advice that a 3-person company would never work. It was, you need to have one person at the top to make decisions. 2 is actually hard, because if you get a disconnect, you got 50-50, right? Yeah. And, you know, they said 3 is just too many. It's too many cooks in the kitchen. I could not imagine it any other way. And I am so grateful that there are more than just one of us in the trenches day to day shouldering this. Yeah. So, and what we do, how we make decisions, which, you know, you touched on a little bit, that low ego piece as well, but we do overarchingly, big decisions have to have consensus. So all 3 of us do have to agree if it's a big decision. Yeah. Like a big strategic direction, an investment, something that could change the company trajectory. Yeah. We align, right? Because it means it's something that is going to significantly change our business. But everything else, I want to say, it runs on energy and passion. I love that. We go, okay, you have a lot of energy and passion for this decision, Kat. I don't have as much energy and passion. You make the call. So we just pull apart where it is so that there's not that power struggle that needs to happen. We don't feel like leadership is like a fixed thing. It's really situational, and we look at it that way on a day-to-day basis. So on Monday, it might be Shannon wants to make the call. On Tuesday, Tara might feel the need to make the call. And on Wednesday, it might be Kat.
I love that. Listen, to me, that's so intriguing, because that is absolutely a divergent way of leading and growing a company, and that the 3 of you are doing it so successfully. Like, I think that's remarkable. But I am curious, as I'm sure people listening are, what do you do when there is, you know, there's an outlier, or someone has real passion for something and maybe the other 2 are like, meh, I don't know about that. How do you manage that? Kat, you go.
I think so. We have an advisory board, and we got some advice early on that just the 3 of us and the way we operate, and maybe having that project management risk adjusted mindset. There's no situation that we would put ourselves in where we would be that divergent. And like Tara said, if it's something that one of us just doesn't have a lot of energy for or passion around, and it could go either way, we don't get hung up on it.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. Shannon, you were going to jump in there, but that...
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it also is and I think the 3 of us have talked about it, like kind of our values. We all have very similar values, very human centric. And I think to Kat's point, right? If there's a big decision, the 3 of us need to align. And I think we've known each other. I mean, we've been together for 7 years, a lot of hours, understand kind of, hey, maybe I need a little bit more time to kind of digest it. Or maybe Kat needs the data where we may need the information to make the decisions. And we give ourselves that space. And I think, you know, as long as it is going to be I think ultimately the good of patients, the good of our clients, the good of our team, we kind of look at those different aspects. As long as the decision doesn't impact those areas, I think as Kat said, we can always course correct. I think that's also kind of like our mindset. Is this a decision, as Tara said, if it's going to change how we operate, that's something that let's make sure that we're all aligned on, and then we move ahead. If we're not aligned, then it's not the right time to move ahead. So, we've been really good with, I think, having the same values, which do make the decisions a little bit easier to make, and maybe not easier to make, understand which are the important decisions that we really need to spend the energy on. The other ones, because I think we're also so busy that we will just spend the time on the ones that three of us need to decide on.
But Shannon, there is a key thing that you mentioned, Lindsay, that I want to make sure people get. Give each other what we need to understand whatever decision we make, and then we row in the same direction. Like if it's more data, if it's another option, we give each other, we look at it. We don't just dismiss it. And that's important.
Yeah. I mean, there's the drop the ego part right there, right? This isn't yours, mine, or ours. It's we just need more information, or we just need a little more soak time. And I think, as founders, we put our blood, sweat, and tears and most of our life savings in these damn things. And a lot of ego goes behind that. So really, like what do you need in order for us to make a great decision? Like again, this is why I wanted to have this conversation with all of you, because I think that's really cool. I also think, Shannon, you touched on it, your values alignment. And this is something that I was just at a breakfast this morning. I just had this conversation with a client this morning. What are my values? How do they align with your values? How are they shared in our organization? When we have clarity around that, that makes the decisions easier. And you're all nodding deeply. So this very much resonates with you. I think that that's just a critical factor. And clearly, I mean, you started out with some great values alignment. I'm assuming it's only gotten better over the 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think ultimately it keeps us fast too, right? Like it keeps us able to move fast.
Yes.
And, it prevents a lot of turf wars.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's like we can give each other tough love because we're all in it for the same thing. Which ultimately for us as patients, our whole model is how can we help impact patients? And so with that as your ethos, all the rest of it can shift away really easily.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're aligned on intention.
Yes.
Right? When you're aligned on intention and you're very focused on that, then it kind of strips away some of the other pieces, is what I'm hearing you say. Did I get that right?
Yes.
You got it right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really cool. Yeah. I love that the three of you can lead this effectively. And I know when we talked the first time that you mentioned that, that sometimes it's like the running joke that somebody's going to quit. I quit this week. I quit. I quit today. Yeah. Kat's laughing. You can't see her, but she just about fell out of her chair. Yeah. I quit. I'm out. And you guys give each other the grace and the space to do that and pick up the slack for each other. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think as Kat, I know you're having a weak Kat. We always joke that like you can quit. We can't all quit. Yeah, we all can't quit at the same time. Right? You can't quit at the same time and you are going to be hired back. So I think as we know with it, sometimes it's like you have a hard week or hard problem with a client that you're trying to get to understand and deliver on that. Okay, if we're sensing that, I think that comes back to our values with it's people, the patients at center that, hey, Kat needs some time, some headspace. So Kat, what can I pick up? You just focus on what you need to do. What can Tara and I pick up? What can we ask someone from our team to pick up so that it gives you the space to rock that problem for the client? And sometimes it could be personal space too, right? Like we're working all the time. So it's like, hey, I have something going on personal. Take care of that. What can we pick up from the client? So we do joke that we always say next week's going to get better. I mean, we love our work. We love our team. But when things, as we know, get tough, it's like, I need to just quit for today. I'll be ready to come back tomorrow, but it's either I need some support either personally or with a client or, project work.
You've heard me talk about the LPC Accelerator. It's where we do the real work. the leadership strategy, the people systems, and culture that actually holds when things get hard. It's part one-on-one coaching, part mastermind, and it's all about helping you lead with clarity, not chaos. If you've been listening and thinking, this is what I've been missing, our next cohort kicks off March the 2nd, and there's a spot for you. If you want to grow without burning out, this is the room to be in. You can send me a DM today to learn more, or check out the link in the show notes and it'll take you right to the page. Yeah, I want to ask you, Kat, because you're feeling it this week. Clearly, this is not your week.
This has been a week, and we're on Wednesday. So there was a meme. There was a meme that our team put in our Signal chat, like, it's only Tuesday. And I have been laughing at that because I felt that way. Like, it's only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this has been a week and it's only Wednesday.
Yeah. What's it like to know that these other two have your back like that?
Oh, my God. I wouldn't make it. I don't know any other way. And I know that is privilege. I feel privileged. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know any other way, but I know this is privilege. I know that there are a lot of other businesses who can't fathom how we operate, but they don't have Shannon and Tara.
No, that is remarkable. And what an incredible word to use, privileged, to know that you have two partners that just are so rock solid to have your back. That is. I was just on a call with a business owner just before I jumped on to record with you ladies. And that's actually what we talked about, like what a relief it was to spend some time with someone else who knows what it's like when you get that gut punch because you lose the proposal, right? The thing you thought you had in the bag, or you have that tricky client. Like, what a wonderful system you have to support each other and grow your business.
And we all have it. We're doing the same thing, so we all know what it really feels like. It's not empathy. It's sympathy. Like, we all know.
Yeah,
grieving right, sympathy.
I know, and I
do. Better next week.
Yeah, it'll be better next week.
Yeah.
That's a 2027 thing for you.
Yes.
That's what we say. That's a nice. But I think, Tara, when we look back, I think we did hear concerns from people about 3 people. And I remember thinking, I take in the data feeling like these people know more than me. We got to be cautious, and we have to, and as Tara said, I could not have done this without Tara. Like, I could have done it, and I couldn't imagine even there would be joy. Like, that's maybe like Kat could do it on her own. I'm sure she could, but yeah, I wouldn't have like the joy or the person, as we said, like, I don't know how I would have any bit of a personal life at all. Like, zero. Which I don't have much now, but I can't imagine. And I think even as we were saying, like, sometimes when you talk about the decisions, Kat, which if it's like a marketing, she'll just take, I don't even need to use my brain on that. But if I have an idea, I'd say, hey, Kat, I saw this really neat idea from Mark. She'll take it in and say, yeah, I haven't thought about that. Or, yeah, we're looking at that. But I know that I don't need to worry about that. Kat has that handled. So to me, that's, it allows me to have some joy and have other people, as Kat said, that have the sympathy, know what I'm going through.
Yeah. I really think that the ability to understand and leverage each other's innate strengths, skills, background, like knowledge, that is insanely valuable, especially, most of the entrepreneurs that I work with and that would be listening today, they are the chief cook and bottle washer, as they say, right? They are all the things all the time. And yet, when they get into trouble is when they do start to bring in team and they don't know how to leverage that skilled, experienced individual. And they mess around and they muck it up and they're touching it too much, right? And what a wonderful example you've given us of how you just leverage the strengths of each other so beautifully. That's pretty cool.
But so the trust is important. And I think we got to give like the secrets to why this works. It's the demonstrated ability to deliver. Like we saw that with each other.
Yeah.
Okay, we knew what each other could do because we worked together.
Yes.
So there was trust kind of built into the system.
Yeah.
That I can leave it with them and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think a big learning I learned, because was definitely one that like always kind of go at it alone, get it done. Don't take it off your back, just finish it. You'll get it done quicker than you need to teach somebody else. But these two women in particular have taught me that it's not actually about being tougher. It's actually about being human. And that's real resiliency, right? And how do we be human together so that we can truly build resiliency? So resiliency is not about, I can put 50 things on my back and sludge away. Because let's be honest, this world is hard. Anybody running a startup, a small business, it is really hard, really, really hard. But it's how do you build resilience in that really hard moment? It's how do we be human together so that I can say, hey, Kat, I'm having a tough time this week, personally, professionally, whatever it is. Can you help me out, Chan? Listen, this thing is not working well. Can you take a look at it? Right?
Yeah.
To me, it's actually the essence core of resiliency.
Yeah. You know what? That is actually a really interesting way to frame resiliency. I think we hear that word a lot. And I often think that we struggle to define it. And that you've defined it as being human and also being a little vulnerable, asking for help and then receiving the help. That's the other part, like being open to receive it. Yeah. And trust. I mean, Kat, you said that's a big word, especially in a small business. Again, blood, sweat, tears, all our money. Trusting other people with all of that is really tricky sometimes. Tara, you're smiling. What's coming up for you?
The other thing I would layer into, like, it trust is at the core, right? Then that kind of ability to work together. But I would say even our joke about quitting each day and then we hire each other back, like there does have to be a bit of humor in this world, right? And that is our stress relief. It's like the memes that get sent, like, I'm in the same place you are, and having somebody there that can just like let that humor out. It's such an noted quality, but it's so important in this world.
And if you can't find the fun,
right?
Growing and scaling a business is you've said it over and over again, all three of you, it is such hard work. If you cannot find the fun, what are you even doing?
Right.
And clearly you three find the fun. And what you do is quite serious. Right? Like this is big kid work, but you find the fun in it.
Yeah. I think we've been really lucky. And I think, Tara, you said we've been really fortunate. And I don't know if it's to like the energy that we give and receive. We have really amazing people on our team. We have amazing clients that end up when we're getting calls from our clients, it's when stakes are high and things are critical. And so I think bringing in that kind of, it always can't be fun, but what's maybe that little humor, that little kind of soften the edge. It's people that you want to be around. You're spending a lot of time with these people.
Yes.
We've been really lucky to be surrounded internally and externally with really great people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes back to the culture that you've clearly built. People want to be a part of your team and you know that they are a fit because they sort of innately understand these pieces. Yes? Yeah. Kat, you're nodding.
The Artemis Factor, the intangible that we can't write it down for you, Lindsay, but we can feel it in people. And I think we gravitate and collect those people and get to work with them and take that cultural energy to our clients.
Yeah.
What is our theme for this year? Our cultural theme is happiness and in action. And we try to create an environment centered around happiness. So I think it was flow, like our very first one, and then happiness, and then happiness and growing, and now happiness in action.
That's pretty cool. How do you feel that impacts your team and how they show up?
Well, there's a way to measure it, right, Tara? There's actually a science behind happiness, and we talk to them every day, like in some form or fashion. We're working with them, we're talking with them, and we can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terry.
So, Lindsay, when we started this, so Kat and I about 4 years ago went to a conference workshop about happiness. And we kind of were like, oh, this is a little kitschy at first, right? Let's see how this plays out. And then they came in with the data, and there's a data-driven way to do happiness, and it's a perma profile. So we have everybody fill this out, and it's personal, right? Happiness is personal. It's about what drives you. And our theory started getting to, well, if our people are happy, won't our clients then be happy? Doesn't that ripple effect? And then if our clients are happy, does that not help patients? And then ultimately, does that not happen in their houses as well? And do you just create this cool ripple effect around happiness? Keeping it at a personal level, but then letting it flow throughout the organizations and places you work. So we're on the 3-year journey. We are really proud of it now, actually, as a badge of honor that, our people are constantly sending us, hey, here's what I'm doing today. That's like my happy moment. Look at my grandbaby, or look at my, I just took my dog for a walk. Here's my cute little puppy, and all these little sparks of joy that happen that actually ping pong back to you. Cause you're like, that just made me happy seeing that too. Right. So yeah. We're definitely proud of it, and it does seem to work. And there is a data-driven way, as Kat would say, to really evaluate and make sure you're doing it well.
I really appreciate, back to your comment earlier about the humanity, putting the human back into all of this work that we do, and that these aren't numbers. These are real human beings with real human lives. And we don't live to work, we work to live. And that when we can be happy, when we can find moments of joy in our work, that we spread that around. We want to share that.
We're in healthcare, for God's sake. Like, try to promote healthy living and healthy mindset when we're in healthcare. Yeah.
Right? Because that helps people get better and feel better when they can find a little happiness. Yeah, Shannon?
Yes. Yeah. I think exactly what you said, Kat. Like we center everything at Artemis around patients. We start all of our team meetings, our face-to-face meetings with the patient story, so that people kind of understand the work that, even though sometimes you may not be touching the patient, what you are doing will ultimately help those that are closest to patients. So, we try to instill that in our culture around the humanity part and the patients, and just as Kat was explaining.
I think that's critical. I don't we can get pretty far removed from the end result, right?
Yeah.
And I think what I know is that all of us want to do work that has value. We want to show up every day. We want to do work that has impact. And when we can't always see the final impact, that becomes challenging. And bringing those stories back into your organization so that people can see and feel and hear about their impact, that I can imagine makes an enormous difference to how people are showing up in the work.
And so as founders, we get to make that decision. Like, there are clients that we work with that go through huge organizational changes, and it impacts the human, the person that's doing the work to, make sure that medicines get to patients, but they're not having a good time.
No.
The work environment is not great. We get to create the work environment we wanted and maybe would have always wanted when we were inside the big machine. So we know what it feels like when it's good, and we know what it feels like when it's not good, and we can make it feel good.
Yeah, you can. Right? It's your business. You get to make it the space that you want to work. And I think that's really important. We should not have the Sunday scaries about our own bit. Like, if you go to bed on Sunday night and you're like, oh shit, it's a new work week and I don't know, man, what are you doing? It's your business. Right. So I love that you are creating the space that you want to work in and the relationships that you want to be a part of while you do that work. That is super cool. Wow.
We're really lucky.
You are so lucky.
We're so lucky. We are.
And I got to say again, I am so pleased to be able to highlight on this show how 3 female co-founders are making a new paradigm for how you build and lead and grow your business. Because I think that that is really important when the rest of the business world would have told you that this would never work. And yet here you are. So thank you for being a part of the show and allowing me to highlight what you've created and why it does work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so funny, Lindsay, because Tara, we're management consultants and a lot of management consulting. And so there's a joke around that too.
Yeah.
They don't operate this way. They're not incentivized to operate the way we operate. And again, we get to redefine and reimagine even what that looks like while we center our culture around happiness.
Wow. Ladies, thank you so much. I could talk so much more with you about this. I'm super grateful for your time and that you would want to come and be guests on the show and just really, give us some insights into how you're doing this differently and you're creating such a great space for people to shine.
Thank you
so much, Lindsay. Thanks for having us. This was fantastic.
Yeah, such a pleasure. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Female Founder Unplugged. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Connect with me on Instagram at High Volt Leadership and send me your questions or let me know your biggest takeaway. Looking for more strategies on scaling your business, building a powerhouse team, or leading with confidence? Head over to highvoltageleadership.ca or follow me on LinkedIn for exclusive content, resources, and special offers just for listeners. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and remember, the real magic happens when you're unplugged.
This podcast is produced, mixed, and edited by Cardinal Studio.